Morning, everybody. Shabbat Shalom. Listen, God's inspired me to leave you this message today. I notice that many people are out here, people who don't want to honor Jehovah's laws or statutes, right? They want everybody to believe that Jesus came away to do away with the Old Testament laws. Like, Old Testament is not applicable, those laws aren't applicable. Listen, we're only New Testament Christians, right? You hear there's this whole New Testament Christian wave, right? Despite Jesus' own words, right? So they teach you, the way that they're teaching things is that the word fulfill means to put an end to. Like Christ came to put an end to his own laws that he gave Moses back in the Old Testament. How I know it was Christ, because Jesus said nobody has ever heard the Father's voice at any time nor seen his image. So that God in the Old Testament must have been Yeshua, right? Right? But then Jesus even said himself in Matthew 5:17, it says, do not think that I have come to abolish the law or the prophets, right? Abolishment means like to do away with, to end, right? It says, I have not come to abolish them, but to fulfill them. So even this distinction, right? There's a distinction saying, no, I haven't come to do away with, but I've come to fulfill, right? And yet these New Testament Christians or whoever is teaching that like Christ came away to do away with the laws, right? When clearly fulfillment means something else, right? But then he goes on, right? So it says in Galatians 5:14, right? I looked up the word fulfillment many times in the scriptures, right? And I struggle to find a definition that you can get from a context that says that fulfillment to do away with, to put an end to. Galatians 5:14, it says, for the whole law is fulfilled in one word. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. Romans 13:8, owe no one anything except to love each other. For the one who loves another has fulfilled the law. Right? But then let's go back to Matthew 5. It says, for verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, which we know has not happened yet, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law, till all be fulfilled. Right? So essentially what that's saying is until heaven and earth passes, which if you read Revelations, you know when you know that hasn't happened yet, based on what Revelation says. Not one law shall pass. Not one law. Everything's applicable. Everything must be obeyed, right? But then it goes on, it says, whoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments and shall teach men so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. Anybody who's teaching not to keep God's laws, and all of them, except animal sacrifice, of course, right, shall be called least in heaven. But then it goes on, right? So it says, but whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. So if your pastor or your disciple, whoever is actually encouraging you to keep God's laws, all of them, right? These are the people that's going to be called great in the kingdom of heaven. And then it says, for I say unto you that except your righteousness shall exceed the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees, ye shall in no case enter into the kingdom of heaven. This is Jesus talking. So clearly, based on these scriptures, fulfillment does not mean to do away with, to put an end to something. For example, I'm married and I say, oh, I fulfilled my vows. That does not mean that that I've done away with my vows. In fact, if that's what I meant, then I would not be fulfilling my marriage vows. If I've done away with my marriage vows, like those people out here cheating and sleeping around and whatever, right? Committing adultery and all these things, right? They're not fulfilling their vows, actually. They're not keeping them, right? They're putting an end to their vows, all right? So, scripturally, biblically, fulfillment means to keep, to obey, to hearken to, right? To honor your covenant of some sort. That's what it means. So please don't allow Satan, don't allow any of these New Testament Christians, don't allow your pastor, don't allow whoever, all right, to encourage you not to keep God's laws. Because in fact, Christ also said, if you love me, keep my commandments. Which commandments? That which you've heard from the beginning. All right? These are scriptures out of Jesus' own mouth. So, and what Jesus says overrides anything that any disciple or apostle says in the Bible, what Jesus said, overrides anything anybody else says. All right? Maybe the Father, except the Father himself. Okay? Now, so if they're trying to combat you with scriptures from other disciples, if they're trying to combat you with non-biblical scriptures, if they're trying to combat you with anything, right? Remember what Jesus says goes. What Yeshua says goes. All right? So I just wanted to encourage you guys to keep God's laws and statutes, to preach, to share his laws and statutes, God, and let's make it to the first resurrection. Peace.